Is there an animal that you would want to try and eat? Like you haven't had, but you want to know what it tastes like?
Is this your tricky way? This is what you got. I don't know.
I'm just trying to make conversation, man.
Maybe hippo for some reason. I
Hippo?
don't know why that just popped in my head.
Yeah, a big fleshy animal. I could see that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fish guy.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like there's a lot more options of choosing, a lot more diversity down under there. I kind of like calamari though. But
Yeah.
like a lot of times, and by a lot of times I mean like 90% of the time, it's just like overcooked and not fun.
I had, before it became illegal to do so, I had mako shark back when I was a kid. That was really good. But I also wonder...
Is that like the little beach ones?
No, they're like medium sized. They're not as big, but they're not like small either. They're like, I don't know, medium. But I really like scallops. Like, I wonder if there's like an ultra scallop down there or something, you know?
I mean, there's like big ones.
I know. I was watching a video of, what's his name? French guy.
Dave the Diver?
Old French guy.
Oh, not Jean-Luc Godard.
No, he's a chef.
The underwater version of a...
No, an old French chef. He was Julia Child's like friend, protege. The fuck's his name? Jacques Pepin. I was watching him cook a scallop, and he had one that was like the size of his frying pan.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
I was very jealous of it.
See the old guy that like still makes videos every once in a while?
Yeah,
on YouTube?
Yep.
And he's like, "This is my sandwich," and it's just like a bunch of onions and cream cheese.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, buddy. Okay.
Sometimes it's really interesting because he's like, I'm just gonna make scrambled eggs. And I'm like, God, every YouTube chef's gonna make scrambled eggs, but then like, I don't know. He's pretty interesting sometimes.
Oh, he's good. I know. I've seen some of his videos. So I was like shakily, like,
yeah.
Cut this apple. He's like, oh.
What about a Pokemon? Is there a Pokemon you'd ever want to try and eat?
I don't know, man. Do they eat Pokemon in that world?
I think like they do on like the black market.
Because all the animals are Pokemon.
But I mean, I think it's done, but it's done like only some people. Because like
well, no, because they eat meat.
Do they?
They have to. I don't remember any food instances in Pokemon.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Like I know, because I know like they like there's the whole Slowpoke tail thing. Team Rocket is trying to like poach Slowpoke so they can steal their tails and sell them for food.
So they're just trying to help out the hungry.
I guess. Okay, so non-Pokemon animals do exist in the Pokemon world.
So they're just like dumb animals?
I guess, yeah.
Like maybe, what's up that egg guy?
Egg guy?
Executor?
Oh, like, yeah, but they're more like pineapples or something. Like, I don't think they're supposed to be eggs.
Then why's he got egg in his name?
I don't know, because if you look at Executor, he's like a giant palm tree, so I think the eggs are supposed to grow up into, like, pineapples? Because it looks, you know?
Oh, no, there's that ice cream one from, like, when they gave up. Moon and Sun, maybe?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, like, so Pokemon and animals are not the same thing. Like, there are Pokemon, and then there are animals. So, I guess you eat beef, but you eat, like, cow beef. You don't eat, like, that cow Pokemon.
That's weird.
Yeah, and that's a weird concept, I guess. But I guess also apparently Pokemon were supposed to be, like, all able to talk, and they changed their minds at some point.
They gave up.
Yeah. I guess we should say, welcome to the Save State. This is a podcast we're talking about video games. This week we're just kind of going to talk about Generation 1 Pokemon. We're just
going to mumble about it for a little bit.
This was Marcus's idea, so...
I was trying to think of something easy to do. Because it's like, I don't know, do you have to, like, remember Pokemon?
At least not... I mean, for me, I played so much of it back in the day. At least the first generation.
The first one. So where were you?
What do you mean, where was I?
When you were saved, when you accepted Pokemon into your heart.
I mean, I was like...
It was, what year was it?
It was probably 98. It was when all that stuff took off.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the exact year.
Yeah, it was 98, I guess. Yeah.
I had been conscious before, but very briefly.
You have no memories from before Pokemon?
No, I do, but I feel like Pokemon kind of overshadows.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I remember coming out and being very excited about the show and the game and the trading cards and all that stuff.
Yeah, because we got the full... It wasn't just a game.
That's true.
You had a TV show. You had a multimedia experience.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of
Before
multimedia
the internet.
before that. Well, no, because I mean, like,
Yeah, but
you had like Transformers and shit
ours.
beforehand. Before that, there was just
Transformers is like from the 80s.
yeah. Well,
know.
like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You had like the TV show and the comic
That's
books
even
and the toys.
that's like just as old.
It's newer than that. Power Rangers, then maybe. You know, it's all like the
Power
first
Rangers,
multimedia.
That wasn't
press.
made for us. It was made for the Japanese.
Well, I mean, whatever the thing was cut down from, but you know, Power Rangers is a thing. Like, is not something they have in Japan.
That's true. I definitely got hyped on it.
Yeah. So I just mean like
the video game was cool too.
yeah. I mean, my point is just like I think it was not a unique phenomenon. Pokemon.
No,
I think
it wasn't.
it borrowed a lot from previous playbook.
Did you ever experience that kind of unfolding before?
Before that, no. Well, I guess that's one thing. Is like before that, I was very like insulated as a kid, so I never like got in on a lot of the fads. Like I was always like the other kids at school were way into Power Rangers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and my parents were like, no. But by the time Pokemon came out, I don't know if they had just been pummeled down or they just didn't care if it seemed harmless enough or whatever. So that was like the first time.
Pokemon was some kind of saving grace in their life.
No, I don't know. It wasn't really like
really
that.
Brought you out into the real world.
But what about you? Did your older brothers play Pokemon before you did, or?
No, I don't think either. I know my eldest brother didn't really. Like he's 4 years older than me, and I feel like he was in that age where like you definitely don't want to touch anything kid.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So I feel like he was very like against it. And my other brother, I don't think he really played it either. Yeah, he wasn't really into that kind of stuff. But I mean, I remember my first exposure was like a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
They had nothing to do with Pokemon. It was, I don't know if you remember this commercial or not. It's like a woman or a teenager vacuuming, and then Pokemon start popping up, and so they start chasing the Pokemon around with the vacuum and catching them.
I don't remember that one, but
And then it just flashes like Pocket Monster, gotta catch them all. And I was like sick because I thought that's what the game was gonna be.
I remember a lot of those ones where it was just random, like Pokemon in random places, like they would just superimpose them Roger Rabbit style on something else.
Yeah. Remember when they used to like make ads for games that had nothing to do with the game?
Yeah, they did that a
And you'd
lot.
still be like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
What's this game about? I don't know. Here's a woman in a bikini eating a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Sonic.
Well, like I remember reading about this whole thing. Like in the '80s, advertising companies knew that they couldn't show video game like stills or anything in an ad for a video game because like no one would.
It was bad.
Yeah, exactly. And then like by the '90s, they were like, we can't actually sell this.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I remember when I like eventually my parents acquiesced and were like, okay, well we're gonna go and get the game. Because I mean, like I'd seen the anime and.
Oh, you saw the anime before?
Yeah, definitely. Like it was on TV, and then I think like I might have even had the card game might have even been something I was playing around with before I was playing the game.
The game. Okay, so you were like.
I was a little late to the party.
Well, you took a weird path. I feel like.
Yeah, well, I didn't have a Game Boy, so like I had to like my parents would have had to buy the Game Boy and it took.
Those were like $1,000 back then.
Oh, they were relatively inexpensive because the Game Boy has like technology. It'd been around for like a decade by that point, you know. So by the time I got one, it was after that. But I really wanted red.
You wanted red just because of the color, or
because there's Charizard's on there. He's a fire dragon guy.
Oh, okay.
Of course I want red, right? And then we get to the Kmart, whatever the crap it is, and and they're out of that one. So I didn't.
Yeah, blue.
I had to get blue, but I mean, like, my mom's like, "Well, we can come back next week," and I'm like, "No, I can't wait another week."
I'm not waiting a week. Yeah, I don't remember which color I got. I think it was blue because I feel like there probably was like a shortage of reds, just because like the Western mind can't comprehend two different mythical beasts.
Yeah, and also one's a turtle and the other one's a fucking dinosaur dragon thing. Like,
turtles are like dinosaurs.
They're like dinosaurs, but they're not actually dinosaurs.
I don't even remember like asking for it. I think I just got it for Christmas because like the TV told my parents that I wanted it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you remember who you picked for your first starter?
My first starter actually was Bulbasaur.
Oh, okay.
I think I just had like some kind of like, I just liked the way he looked. I think I was like really into frogs at the time. And he's very frog energy. And I don't think I've ever really looked back from that. Like green type is, I mean, I never got any of the follow-up generations until I was like 22. So that's a long time. There's a lot of development in the Poke world between then and there.
I think I definitely got, I got yellow and gold when those ones came out, but that...
Oh, I definitely got yellow, but that was the same.
Yeah, I mean, the same generation. But I stopped hard after gold.
So you played gold?
Yeah, I played gold, definitely. But no, I started with Charizard, of course, and then, being a dumb kid, I was like having so much trouble getting past like Brock and Misty and stuff. And then my neighbor who had like the strategy guide was like, "You're an idiot. You can't start with Charmander." I was like, "Well, why not? He's cool." And they're like,
"He's cool.
You can't, but you got optimally you have to do this and this and this." And I was like, "Okay, well."
Optimally? What a fucking douche of an 8-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I don't know how old he was, but...
Well, then, I mean, because I did the exact same, because, hurt people, right? So, like, later on, when Pokemon Yellow comes out, and you Brock's impossible with Pikachu, and I'm like, I told my sister, like, you have to get, like, Mankey and teach him low kick, and then you can fight Brock. And then, like, then I became the optimal jerk.
The cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
The cycle. It's just like UIE, Divine Cybermancy.
Exactly. It's just like that.
So, were you a guy, did you just have your one guy and then like a backup, or were you like a well-rounded squad guy?
I don't know. The first time I
translates.
No, I know what you mean. But the first time I played it, I was definitely like I'm going to fight everything.
Just one dude.
Yeah, exactly. With this, and then if every other Pokemon slot is just for backups, if Charmander dies, and then
Charmeleon
or whoever, whatever evolution
so
of
fancy.
Charmander.
He's the king of France.
Isn't that how it's said? The second guy? How would you say Charmeleon?
I don't know.
Okay.
I never really used him, so I don't really like think about his evolutions that much.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, until I got like I think like Snorlax ended up always, because any Pokemon that seemed important, would end up on my team. So like Snorlax and Lapras, and then Articuno and those ones.
Oh yeah, Lapras.
Yeah.
I always liked that they let you teach Snorlax surf. Which is just like...
But Charizard can't learn fly, but Snorlax can learn surf.
Nope, even though he's got wings.
Yeah. Pidgey can. You can fly with Pidgey. The tiny little bird.
I used to love a Pidgeot.
Yeah, but like straight up regular ass Pidgey can learn fly.
Oh, can it?
Yeah. But like, I don't know. How is it like you just hold on to the bottom of it and it like flies you there?
It's a game.
Of course it's a game.
I bet there's a scene in the anime, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Gotta catch them all. So what would happen if you caught them all?
You get like that little certificate.
Credits?
There's that little certificate that they give you. You go back to Professor Oak and he gives you that thing that says, "Congratulations."
Oh, and then you print it off on your Game Boy printer.
Only if you have yellow. You couldn't do that on blue.
Yellow, you could do that?
Yeah.
I always wanted one of those Game Boy camera printer setups. My parents were like, no. That's stupid.
That's smart. Yeah.
But instead, they just got me like the little... Remember like the little USB lights?
Oh yeah, I had like a whole like setup for that thing with like the magnifying glass and the light thing. Yeah, like extra rumble pack and like the spare battery thing. It was like a whole like it's like a set of armor you put on the Game Boy. It's like
those were cool. I was always jealous of the kids that had like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they were mostly useless.
Yeah, I think my mom actually had the magnifying glass, and she'd use it for Tetris.
Yeah, a lot of moms bought that for Tetris. Apparently, Pokemon was also big with Japanese moms.
I believe that. Why can't moms RPG?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like they designed it to be marketable.
Mm.
What was your opinion on Digimon?
I know nothing about Digimon.
It's enemy. It's a mortal enemy.
It always felt cheap. Like it always felt like they were the Mega Bloks kids. Like,
you know what's funny though? It's like I think Digimon's older.
Is it?
Well, I think Digimon was just a show, and I think they got into the video games.
I know nothing
when
about
they saw
Digimon.
Like Pokemon. It has nothing to do with Pokemon, but for some reason people like correlated it because they're two Japanese things with creatures that evolve.
It came 2 years after Pokemon in Japan.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
But it's also different. It's just like...
Yeah, it was invented to be a masculine version of Tamagotchi because, like, apparently...
Masculine
Like,
version.
you know, like, they had, like, guns and there were dragon monsters.
Oh, yeah,
and
they
stuff.
did. It was like a guy would start out as like a trash can and then turn into an angel made
Yeah,
of guns.
exactly.
Which was cool. And also in that one, it was like the kids were like on like, I don't know, I never saw Lost, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But I felt like they were on a Lost like island.
I think it had there was like some sort of like alternate cyberverse that they were in or something like that. Like they were trapped in some sort of other dimension. I know nothing about Digimon, so I'm talking out my ass.
Me neither. It's been like a long time, so I don't remember. Well, yeah, no, it was like, I don't know if you had the experience of the Blink-182 kids versus the Green Day kids. I was living in California at the time. They didn't really set the scene. So, like, but over there, it was serious. There are 3 of us Green Day kids. Everyone else is a Blink-182 kid. And to this day, I fucking hate anyone in the Blink-182 band. I think they're all a bunch of losers. And I was kind of glad when that one guy got cancer.
That's terrible.
I know, it was terrible. I just fucking hate Blink-182. Their music sucks. Oh, wow, they said butthole in a song.
I don't know if I have strong opinions about either. I mean, I remember...
I do, just because, like, I got my ass kicked every single day for not listening to them.
I definitely downloaded both band stuff from, like, you know, Napster or Kazaa or whatever the fuck back in the day. They were always, like, the thing, like, on Warped Tour, I guess. Like, that was a thing also. Like, who was going to be on Warped Tour that year.
At this place in California, our school was... You know, California schools are always weird for some reason. You notice that? Like, they always like to have, like, outside lockers and, like,
oh, yeah, no,
outside
I guess I've seen that in movies. It's like they're always, like, half outside.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't Minnesota.
Yeah. They definitely, like, it's like, I don't know, but it's a thing.
Yeah. I guess saves
like,
on building.
Like, they're like, hey, fuck a cafeteria. You just eat out here. But, like, our recess area was, like, there's, like, the outdoor cafeteria. And then you had like a hangar, which was like in case of weather cafeteria. And then there's like a massive hill, literally like to the point where like people would make jokes about like whoever runs for president should put in an escalator. It's like
Class
stupid
president.
dumb big hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this like on top of that was like our little recess area. Not little at all. It was like massive, but it was like just flat, like bunch of little courts. And then you had a little playground area. But the thing was, it was like just divided up into gangs. Like 100%, like everyone was in a gang. It was like the gang I was in, we called ourselves the Huns because we all played Age of Empires. And I swear to God, like it was every day. It was just, you would go out there and it would just be like complete chaos of just like kids just really beating the shit out of each other for like control of territory. Like me and my like 3 buddies with like the area we controlled, was just like this little spot like at the top of the steps. Because like we were like by far one of the smallest gangs. Our only thing that we could do to like beat people was like one of our guys would like do the thing where you get on all fours behind somebody.
Yeah.
Someone else pushes them over, so they like fall over the person. We'd just do that at the top of the hill.
Sure there were gangs and you just weren't 3 bullies terrorizing everyone else?
No, we got just like we got the worst kind of wedgies and like just beat up all the time.
Wow.
It was wild. No, it was like literally to the point where like they'd have meetings like where like the principal would come in and like bring a cop with them and be like, you guys can't be doing this. I'm like, well, then stop it. It's terrible out there. And I think it all started with like the Pokemon trading happening. Because Pokemon cards came in.
Yeah.
And so now the kids had a currency.
I remember that.
So someone had to start taking control, and then the gangs just formed around it.
I got way into that. I was way into Pokemon trading, and I got kind of like devious with it.
Were
where
you
I was
good?
like, at the game, I never learned how to play the game. I was just all about collecting. I was very good at like, you know, like I'd find someone who's like, I was kind of predatory about it. I'm like, oh, this Jigglypuff's really cute. I'm sure you don't want this Scyther or whatever the fuck. That guy's a gross mantis guy. This is a cute pink guy. And then like, you know, that sort of thing. And I was doing pretty well for myself. Like my, you know.
So you were gaslighting children.
I wasn't gaslighting. I was conning
Pokemon
them.
Cards.
I was yeah, you know, I was like the music man essentially, but for Pokemon cards. And then, so I was in like, this like advanced placement but for little children thing, like school for the gifted kind of thing. And then one of the kids in this gifted school started like making his own knockoff Pokemon cards. Like he'd draw them on like paper, and then he'd like write like made up things, and he'd draw them, and he'd give them fake stats, and then like tape them with like Scotch tape to make them look like they were laminated. And he was selling them for money. And like,
hell yeah!
Then all the kids in my gifted school got into like
did Nintendo sue him?
Well, no, they got into the fake cards, and I was like, wait, but this is no one's trading Pokemon cards anymore. This is driving me nuts. Like I spent so much
under your bubble purse.
Yeah. So then I went to the vice principal or whatever, and I was like, this guy's selling stuff in the schoolyard. You can't keep him doing this. And like he got in a lot of trouble for like selling things at school, I guess. And but no one went back to Pokemon cards. That was kind of the death of Pokemon cards at that school.
So what is the name for that? I know there's a name for it, like the Monster Hunter, the Monster Rancher.
I guess
Pokemon,
like Monster Collector,
Digimon.
Creature Collector, I guess is actually the term. Creature Collector as a genre.
That doesn't sound as romantic as I thought it was going to be.
No,
because I know there is like an actual like
subgenre.
I think this should be it.
Yokai.
Like I just sent you a word. There you go. Enjoy.
I don't know this word. Yokai.
I think it's, yeah.
If I Google it, will it be bad? Yokai is a catch-all Japanese term for ghosts, demons, monsters, shapeshifters, tricksters, and other supernatural beings. So.
Yeah, I think it's like it comes from that kind of thing. I don't know. Well, yeah, it makes sense that all this stuff comes out of Japan because they have some sort of folklore.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I know the guy who started it, like who sort of invented Pokemon. He was like way into like
Game Freak.
The titular Game Freak. He was way into
what a weird name, man.
Well, I'll get into that in a second. He was, but anyway, he was really into like collecting and trading beetles as a kid, and then like all the forests around him got torn down and demolished, and the buildings were put in and stuff like that. So like none of the kids around him could trade beetles anymore. So this was like his thing. But apparently Game Freak started out as a magazine about video games. It was like
that makes more sense.
Yeah, and then it turned into a video game company after
Pokemon. They just got frustrated with the language of games, and they're like, you know what? We'll just make a better one.
Well, it's interesting because like I have a quiz, a Pokemon quiz, if you want to get started on that.
Oh no! Don't. If you do Pokemon names,
I'm not going to do much.
Good. Because I'm so bad at those, and I don't know anything. So
like, I guess this is the first question. So in Japan the original version was Pokemon Red and Green, not Blue. Blue came out later as like a couple years afterwards as like a more polished version. They fixed a lot of bugs and stuff like that.
Oh.
Initially, it was only available by mail order, and then they released it in stores eventually. But it came out in 1996. It had been intended to come out at the end of 1995, but they got delayed due to not having enough, I think, manuals. Like there's a lack of printing availability.
Yeah, I feel like that's a game that you need a manual for.
Yeah, especially back then. So my question to you is, how long was Pokemon Red and Green in development before it came out?
Oh, so they had a year delay.
Well, they had like a 3-month delay. It was supposed to come out in like December of 95, and then it came out in February of 96 in Japan.
Are you talking about like development as in like it's a thought to video game, or like nerd at the computer development time?
The time between when it was presented as an idea to Nintendo to when it was released.
2 years?
5, actually.
5 years. Wow, I mean that paid off for him.
Yeah, no, I mean basically what I understand, Game Freak approached Nintendo at like 1990 with this idea. Nintendo's like, well, we kind of like it, but you need to polish it up a good bit. And they kind of made some other games, and while they had this going in the back burner, and then by that point, like there was like it wasn't really much of a risk to put something out on a Game Boy because it was so cheap to develop for the Game Boy. So Nintendo was like, yeah, why don't we give this a shot? Next question: Pokemon came out in the United States in 1998. Which released first, The game, the anime, or the trading card game? The video game, the anime, or the trading card game?
So there's no reason that they would bring that anime over to English without the game. And I feel like the cards were like probably the last one to release in the U.S. Because that's, I don't know. I'm going to say the anime first to build the hype for the game.
Yep. Well, I don't know if it was meant to build hype, but yeah, it came out a week before the game did.
That was meant to build the hype.
Yeah. For bonus question, what was the first episode to debut?
Indigo League?
No, I mean like that was the first series, but I mean like which episode was the first?
Like the title of it?
Just give me any information you could guess, like number, plot line, where it's set in the game line.
It's the one where Ash uses the rubber gloves to get Pikachu, right?
The first episode premiere was the one where they go to the SSAN. But that was a very weird period before it was syndicated in the States, but it hadn't been like picked up by any of the larger networks. And then when I think it was either Fox or Warner Brothers Kids ended up getting, I think it was Warner Brothers or WB Kids or whatever, ended up getting the rights to it. They released them in order from starting at number 1. Pokemon was the most watched children's show in the United States for 54 weeks after it debuted.
Ooh.
What show took over that spot afterwards?
Children's show.
Children's show.
So what came out in 99 or maybe almost 2000? Ben 10 wasn't out yet.
No.
Jimmy Neutron wasn't out yet.
No. Maybe. No.
I don't remember anything. Was it Digimon?
It was Digimon. Yep.
Yes.
Pokemon with guns. It's not just a Pal World thing. All right, next question. Also, an interesting fact: Pokemon. I mean, maybe this is common in Japan, but Pokemon the anime, when it was on in Japan, was on at weekdays at 7 p.m. It was prime time television in Japan.
Oh, good for them.
Well, I don't know if that's prime time in Japan. I don't know. Maybe when that works over there. All right. According to a survey done by Business Insider in 2020. What were the 5 most popular Gen 1 Pokemon?
Pikachu, obviously.
Nope.
It's not top 5.
Not
Gen
top
1.
5.
That's crazy. All right, so Charizard.
Yep.
Bulbasaur.
Yep.
Venusaur.
Nope.
Are you giving me like not that version or like?
No. Bulbasaur is on the list, but those evolutions are not. Charizard is on the list, but the previous evolutions are not.
Mewtwo? Dang. Meowth?
Nope.
Just from his little Team Rocket? No, dang. No. Not Starmie. Starmie?
Nope.
The Misty?
Nope.
Geodude?
Nope.
Dang. Snorlax?
Nope.
What's the most obscure Pokemon you got? I don't know. You gonna say Voltorb's on there?
Nope.
It better not be. Butterfree?
Nope.
Dragonite?
Nope. He's not.
All right, I give up.
Gengar. It's Charizard, Gengar,
Okay.
Arcanine, Bulbasaur, and Eevee.
Eevee, really?
Yeah, Eevee's huge in Japan. Eevee's bigger than Pikachu in Japan, I think.
Oh, I think Eevee, yeah. I think it's more of the mythical folklore style of.
I also think it's just kind of cute and generic.
I never used Eevee. I'll say it.
I always had an Eevee so that I could have the thing that came after Eevee. Eevee was always a
Ninetales?
No, you think that's Vulpix. Eevee was the one that had all the different forms depending on which stone you gave it.
Oh, the 3, yeah.
Yeah. So Pokemon Gen 1, that is say red, green, blue, and yellow, whatever, was the best-selling generation of Pokemon for the games ever.
Oh, good for them.
What was the second best-selling?
Is it the second generation?
Nope, it's not the second. I think that's actually
How many
fourth.
generations?
You can just tell me, you don't have to tell me what number, you can just tell me what game from that generation.
I don't really know the names of the ones. Because like I told you before, like I only played Gen 1.
Yeah.
And then I played like 14 years later. I don't even know. I think it was called like Black and White, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That I played.
The DS.
Yeah. Oh, was it like the Switch one?
It was one of the ones on the Switch. There's four,
There's
5 on the Switch
Jesus.
now, I think. No, there's
Mystery Dungeon.
wait, there's Let's Go Pikachu, Arceus, and then there's 4. There's 4-ish. Because you have like Scarlet, Violet, and then Sword Shield.
1 on the Switch.
Oh, Let's Go Pikachu is just... Oh, no, there's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So there's 5, actually. So there's like a remake of Diamond and Pearl. There's a remake, like the 3rd remake of Gen 1. And then there's Arceus, which is like the weird open world thing. And then there's like Sword and Shield and Scarlet Violet, I think is the other one.
I'm going to say the first... Whatever one was the first Pokemon game on the Switch. Just because I feel like it was a big hype.
Yeah, no, that Let's Go Pikachu. No, the answer is Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is I think was the second one on the Switch.
Oh.
Surprised me. It was the second best-selling one. And then after that, I think it's that one. I think after that, it's Let's Go Pikachu, and then it's Gold, Silver. Here's a fun question. How tall is Charizard?
Oh, man. I feel like at one point, I would have known this. I'm trying to just picture him against Ash in the show, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like use that as a base. But I can't picture it. But I know like Chameleon, the 5th of France. I feel like he was almost as tall as Ash, but not quite.
Mm.
And Ash is like a 12-year-old child? 13, 14?
I think he's like, 10, 11, 12, something like that.
So like, and he's also Japanese.
Is he?
So... Isn't he?
I don't know. Ash Ketchum doesn't sound particularly Japanese, but yeah, I think it's meant to be Japan. Yeah.
Well, I feel like they're a little bit not as tall in general. 7 something.
7 feet tall. He's 5'7".
Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was very surprised by this. To me, like Charizard
Towering
should be huge.
over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like an average adult.
I'm taller. I'm a lot taller.
Yeah, no, me
Charizard.
too. Yeah, no. Very weird. All right, next up. In the Generation 1, you know what base stats are, like the statistics,
Attack?
the stats that each
Power?
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And then each Pokemon has like a base number where it's like the least they can have, or not maybe the least they can have, but like whatever, their average. Anyway, the Pokemon with the highest is Mewtwo. After that, it's Mew, Dragonite,
Sure.
Gyarados, and then the 3 legendary birds.
Yeah.
What Pokemon comes after that?
Oh man, like highest base stats.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's gonna be like I want to say Voltorb. I don't know why.
It's not Voltorb.
Just because I feel like the self-destruct will just like throw a wrench in there. Is it gonna be It's gotta be a rock type, I would assume. Let's
I'll give you a hint. It does have a very high defense stat.
Oh, is it Kakuna?
No, Kakuna actually it's tied for the worst
The
stats.
lowest.
Yeah. Can you guess what the other lowest ones are? While we're down here.
Oh god, not Starmie. What's that fish's fucking name?
Magikarp.
Magikarp.
Mm-hmm.
Magikarp's gotta be there, right?
Yep.
And then Clary or Chansey?
Nope. It's
Clefairy or Chansey?
It's Metapod, Kakuna, Caterpie, Weedle, and Magikarp.
Oh, you know what's crazy? I used to fuck out of like Caterpies. Like Butterfree was one of my favorite. He was a top rotator.
Butterfree's very good for a little while there in the middle of the game.
Not even, dude. Late game, dude, turns into a poison type.
It's always poison type. I mean, they're all poison type. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm gonna say maybe like an Onyx.
Onyx actually is one of the worst.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Let's not Machop. No. Oh, Hitmonlee maybe.
Nope.
All right.
It's Cloyster, the oyster Pokemon.
Cloyster.
Oh. After that, I think it's Executor. I think that's also just Generation 1, and a lot of that stuff got moved around. And the last question I have for you, in Generation 1, what is the most common type of Pokemon? You know, like flying, fire, water.
Yeah. Grass? Bug?
You're close, though. You're close.
Close. What? Poison?
Yep. Yeah, poison is mostly just because there are a lot of Pokemon are blank and poison. So like, there's a ton of grass, poison.
I didn't.
There, and then I have another follow-up question if you're ready.
Okay.
There's
Who's the best?
Not really. There are two types of Pokemon, of which there are only 3 in the game. What are those 2 types?
Legendary? Is that?
That's not a type.
Oh damn. Dragon, right?
Yep.
Dragon type. And then Gorsh. Ghost?
Yep. Ghost's the other one.
Yeah. Dragon Ghost. Do they have a Dragon Ghost?
Not in Gen 1, but I don't know, they might now. It's a good question.
They have weird types now.
Well, there's like two new ones. Like, Steel's been around since Gen 2, and there's Fairy type. There's one Pokemon who's a Dragon Ghost. He's named Dreepy.
Oh.
It evolves into Drac Cloak.
That is literally a name out of like a Mario RPG game.
It is. And then he evolves into Dragapult. Yeah, that's from.
Well, I think I got 2 right.
Yeah, you got a good many of them right. You got some of the hard ones right, especially.
Yeah, my Pokemon knowledge is not that solid.
No, me neither. I mean, Gen 1, I think I could probably identify most of them pretty quickly.
If you put me back in time into that body, yeah, sure, I would have known everything. This far removed.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Who's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon?
You're going to say Charizard again?
No, actually, I mean, now, like, you asked me, like, today, like, what my favorite Pokemon is right now from Gen 1. I don't know, I really like Farfetch'd. I like the idea of a duck running around whacking people with a leek.
With the leek? Yeah,
he's a good one. Fun idea.
I liked Alakazam a lot.
Okay, the big psychic guy with the mustache.
Yeah, it was cool. With the spoon.
Yeah.
That one always seemed oddly humanoid to me.
That's also true.
Granted, there's like Mr. Mime.
Yeah.
Which is like
just a guy.
The weirdest one. Yeah. Was this Danny DeVito playing a mime?
And Hitmonlee is also just kind of like a dude with a weird haircut.
He's a little oddly shaped, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked, when I was a kid, I was really into Raticate for some reason. Like, literally the most average Pokemon. But I just kind of liked the idea of, like, a big nasty rat.
Like he played, like, a big, like, bigger trope in the show, too.
Yeah. Like, he was always one of the bad guy things that they'd run into. It's like, bad guys always had to have, like, it was like Ekans.
A rat type.
Yeah. And,
he said to have rodents.
Well, yeah, it was like, they always had to have bad guy things, like Muck and Ghosts and Ghastly and Weezing and, you know.
I like ghost types. They're cool. They're fun.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that Ghost was that Gengar was the second most popular Gen 1 Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
I mean, it's definitely a very good, unique look to him, I guess.
I mean, he's just kind of like a purple blob with spikes and, like, nasty eyes, but at the same time, like, you know.
People like that stuff.
Yeah.
They made this whole game called, oh God, what's it called? Kingdom Hearts, based off that Gengar look.
Yeah. He's Kingdom Hearts is someone else's Heartless. Gengar is, I mean.
Pokemon Tower, that was a sad place.
That was a weird vibe. Weird vibe with that one.
That was a weird vibe, dude. What were they doing?
Yeah. So, so you never played any of them after the original Yellow.
Yeah, I never got the was it Ruby Sapphire?
Yeah, that was what's after Gold Silver.
Oh, Gold Silver. Yeah. I remember seeing kids play it. And being like, oh, must be nice. All those new Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm much later. Like, I think it was probably like when I was an adult and I had like a real job and I was like traveling a lot and spending a lot of time in hospital waiting rooms and stuff. And I got like a 3DS and Pokemon XY because I was like, I'm gonna get back into this. And it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that was the wrong one to start with. Because there's like this whole mechanic where you have to like pet all the Pokemon and like rub them.
Oh, really?
And like feed them snacks. And I'm like, I don't. And it's like it's on the touchpad.
System.
It's like on this little touchpad. Yeah. You have to like pet them and like it's always weird too because it's like it feels like it wants me to like. I don't know. Didn't like
caress
it.
Them.
Well, it's fine if they're like a dog Pokemon or whatever, but then it's like you're petting like just what is a small child essentially, and you're like, I don't know if this is something I want to do.
You got to pet Mr. Mime.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't know. It was okay. I don't know. I think I might just be. You might
have aged out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not saying that adults who play Pokemon are bad by any means. I just mean like I don't.
It's not for you anymore.
Yeah, maybe if I kept up with it, like I just kept on the Pokemon train, I would find it. Because I mean, like when you watch, like when I encounter like YouTube stuff about Pokemon, there's a lot of like people are like way into stats, and it's like, well, if you do this, then there's like a 10% chance of getting like a double crit, which means that when you use this move against this guy, and here there's like a 50% chance. Like there's just like a lot of like math nerds, I guess. I've never been really.
Yeah, they're min-maxing their Pokemons.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that kind of stuff ruins games for me.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I think it depends a lot on the game. So one thing I do like one game I mentioned before is like I like doing the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past randomizer.
Link to my ass.
And there's a lot of like Pokemon randomizers out there, and one thing I like to watch are like, have you heard of Nuzlocke runs? Where it's like a challenge mode essentially for Pokemon, where like if a Pokemon faints in battle, you can't use them ananymore. You have to put them in your computer.
Oh, it's like done skis. Okay.
Yeah, and like every time you encounter a Pokemon, you have to catch them or something like that, and they have it's like rules to make it more punishing.
Yeah.
That intrigues me. I don't know if I ever but like it
does definitely sounds like there's a whole new list of like things you have to consider.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not so much that I want to do that myself, but it's like watching people do that math is impressive. You know?
Sure. Yeah. I think it was a fake video. I know it was. I found like someone was like doing some kind of Pokemon randomizer, but they just ended up going into Silent Hill.
I mean, they've seen some interesting random. Like there's a.
I don't think it was real. I think it was like
just a video edit.
Yeah, but it's pretty like well done. And then they fought the Silent Hill
Pyramid Head.
Yeah, because it's like no, I think it was like the main character from Silent Hill, whatever his fucking name is.
No.
Silent
Bob.
Mr. Hill.
No, there's an actual randomizer that's a cross randomizer between Link to the Past and Super Metroid, and like you can have items from Link to the Past in Super Metroid and items from
Super Metroid.
Yeah, and vice versa. So you have to like kind of play Link to the Past a little bit, and then Metroid a bit, and then vice versa. It's really that one I've never done myself because I'm not very good at Metroid. I like it a lot.
Metroid games are like hard. But I also feel like that's the point of them.
And I just get Versal very turned around in especially in Super Metroid. Like I have no idea where I'm at half the time.
Yeah, those were like I guess basically just space Castlevanias.
Yeah. I mean, there is a reason. That is the reason they're called Metroidvanias as a genre.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, makes sense. But we never got a Castlevania like we got like the Samus standalone. Like I don't know why I'd call them standalones.
I mean, like the Metroid Primes.
Yeah, stuff like that.
They did make that one first-person Castlevania for the N64, but I think everyone hated it.
Did they? Oh, it was a bad system to expand on like that. That's a big leap.
I mean, GoldenEye managed it pretty well.
Well, yeah, but they weren't like breaking off of like a standard.
What else is there to talk about? I don't have any news or anything. You been playing anything else, Marcus?
I totally was playing Pokemon. No, I haven't been. So I was like really, really trying to give Breath of the Wild a chance.
Yeah.
I was like trying so hard. It's like, you know what? So every once in a while I'd look up something online, be like, what's this fucking dumbass bullshit I'm dealing with right now? And it's like never like an entry level player that's like explaining to you. It's like a guy who's like spent the last 3 years of his life in the game.
Yeah.
So they got all this cool stuff and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, this is nothing. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, eventually you get there, right? And I started doing the Goron fucking main quest, I guess, where you have to go up this mountain and like escort just the most annoying character I've encountered so far in the game.
Yeah.
Past these sentries.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically get to the last little cannon that you have to shoot at the whatever you call it, divine beasts. And there's these 2 lizard guards that you have to fight, which are normally no problem. but you're on top of this mountain over lava. And so anytime they even hit you, you just go flying into the lava. It doesn't kill you directly.
Yeah.
But it like respawns you minus health. But you're also like, you can't do anything for a little bit. And so you just end up in this cycle of them whacking you into the lava over and over and over again until you're dead. And then you just get sent back to the start of that. And I was like, oh, it's just like, yeah, go fuck yourself, Zelda. This is the worst Zelda game ever. I'm never going to play anymore.
Well, at least you tried.
Yeah, I tried so hard. I wanted to like it.
No, I've been playing Civ 7.
Is it good?
It's good. It's not great, but it's good. I think it suffers from the fact that it's called Civ 7.
What do they even update in those games to like make it worth them?
No, they changed a lot of different stuff. They've changed you change civilization every time there's a new age. There's only 3 ages now. They've changed how buildings work. They changed how growth works. They changed a ton of stuff. This is probably the biggest change between 2 different civs. They got rid of the religions completely. I like it, but like it's a little jank. It's a little unpolished. It's a little, I don't know, shallow. Like I think if this was called like Civ Adventures, like this was or this was like not a Civ game at all. This was just like, Quest of Empires, something like that, like just some random ass name. This would be a pretty good game, but it suffers from not being better than the previous Civs, which is hard to do. But anyway, like I like a lot of the things. I like the way they have the new cities and town system. So like you can have instead of like it used to be that like you're always building more cities and constantly having to micromanage what buildings you're putting into them, and now it's like you can only really put buildings in half of them anyway, and the other ones you kind of have to devote to like just giving you food and stuff. So like you have less pressure to constantly be micromanaging. And then the way like in Civ 6, they had this thing where you had to like spread out your city, and you'd always like commit certain areas to like, this is my barracks, this is my culture area, this is my whatever. And you were like doing tons and tons of pre-planning. Like, first turn of the game, it took forever because you were like, okay, this is where I'll put my aqueduct, and this is where I'll put my whatever. Like, this is where I'll put my harbor, and like, because everything had like bonuses. Like, if a harbor is touching your trading area, then it gets a bonus. And so it's in depth, but there was just so much pre-production that would go into like everything. Like you could easily just get like, you spend an hour planning out what you were going to do on turn 1, and then just going, never mind. And this is a little easier on that because it kind of lets you sprawl out and think about things as you go, and it's less punishing. You can like you can rebuild stuff other places, and it's not that big of a deal. So I like that, but also like they made a lot of other things way too simple. The diplomacy system is very unintuitive to me. I don't think the AI explains itself very well. It feels like it's constantly getting angry at me or liking me for no apparent reason. Which I guess is not that wrong from how people react to me in real life. So yeah, and it's a mixed bag for me, I guess. I like it. It's not something I regret playing, but it also feels like they took a lot of features out. Like there's a lot less. I think the idea was like, most people who play Civ have never finished a game, so we're going to simplify it and strip it down and make it easier for people. And like there's that, but I also kind of feel like they've stripped a lot of stuff out so they can justify having more DLC later. It's kind of like my cynical part of my brain is thinking like, oh, this will be great after like 3 or 4 DLC, and I'm like, that's not necessarily a good thing.
It's definitely not.
Yeah. So, it's not bad, certainly. I mean, also, if it's like your first Civ, I think it's not a terrible choice, because it is.
Probably like a good because it's simplified.
Yeah, and like there's not that like commitment to it and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, I like it.
No, I had some Civ on my fucking Switch that I got as a present. It was just the worst system to play.
Yeah,
Civ on.
They've released the new one on Switch too. I'm like, why are you doing this?
So do you think, is Nintendo still even producing like Game Boys and stuff like that? Or are they just like, our main system is basically
mean, do you think there'll be another Game Boy? Yeah, I think they're just going to keep making Switch things, at least for the time being.
That's what I figured.
Like,
I think there's sometimes that the Switch needs to like understand its identity as you're a Game Boy, like, you know.
Yeah, well, it depends. I think some people don't play it that way, especially like kids. Like, there's definitely a demographic of children for this is their console. Like, this is what they go home and sit in front of the TV and play. You know, so I think it depends a lot on your choice, which I think is part of what makes it good. Is that, like, for me, it's a thing I play Picross on before bed, like a Game Boy, like the Game Boy before it. You know, but for other people, it's like their main console.
The Paper Mario for it sucked. I mean, it was great. It was like fun, and there's some really, really cool Paper Mario stuff going on in it. But it wasn't an RPG. You had this weird, like, it's impossible to explain. We had this weird like ring system. You didn't level up. You just had like, and then you would like line up the enemies in the rings. I don't know. You had to.
No, I think I know what you're talking. Like, kind of like a.
Yeah, you have to see it to understand it.
I think I know what you're talking
just
about.
like. So there's no point in grinding. An RPG where you can't grind is just like.
Not an RPG for you.
Not to me, buddy. If I can't spend an hour outside the first town and then just become overpowered off that hour, no.
I think the Switch would. I think one thing I would like to see Nintendo do is commit more to like having older games like emulatable. I know they do that, but like a lot of the time, like
they pay for like a pass.
Yeah, they have to do that, or sometimes they just like the one like when they had the Super Mario 64 one, it was like only available for a limited time, and also it's $660 or whatever. And I'm like, I would like the Switch if it was just more. I think if they just put more older Nintendo stuff on there, especially because it's just that little screen. Like, I don't, you know, like I missed out on so many like DS games and stuff, like because I had like a 3DS way at the end of the lifespan. You know, I'd love to see them do that. Wii games too. I never had a Wii, so. But again, that's one of those things that's hard to like. I guess you can't just emulate that. You got that stupid controller.
You gotta like point your stick at it. What do you call them? Wii chucks?
They had something like that.
It was a funny name.
Yeah.
Nintendo?
Nintendo Wii chucks.
What was the Wii?
When?
Wii when?
What did you ask?
I was trying to like just use my brain to think of it. The Wii
remote. Wiimote.
What? I thought it was called like the nunchuck. Wii.
Well, the other thing that attached to it was the nunchuck. So like the white, like the thing that looked just like a TV controller was the Wiimote. Then you had the nunchuck, which is the thing you plugged into.
Oh, the little it's little like I forgot about it. It's little whatever. It's a little testicle.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, frankly, because I think that there is something about the fact that like controllers always make you sit with your shoulders out, your elbows out.
No, it was great. They were diving into the future.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing like a new Wiimote kind of a thing. Not necessarily where I have to point it at a screen, but something where I can like have my hands like a foot or two apart from each other.
God, I completely forgot about that. I didn't really play the Wii that much.
Well, I know you had a Wii, but I think you just played Guitar Hero on it.
Yeah, Guitar Hero. There's some game where you like vacuumed up sparks, and I thought that was sick. Very much like what I initially thought Pokemon was going to be.
You just like vacuuming games?
Did release that game.
Are you just really to like Luigi's Mansion too? You just want games.
Dude, I want to play so much. I love those Luigi's.
Well, there's a new one. You haven't played the new one?
I have not played Gooigi, no.
No, you should do that.
I should, but that's the thing is I don't want to get it and play it on a tiny screen. And I know you're just like, oh, connect it to your TV. I'm too lazy. Nintendo, you gave me a handheld. I'm not going to do the work to turn it into it. And also I just don't like, you know what I'm saying, holding those things on their own.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't have, if you're like, yeah, I mean, I have a separate controller. Like I have a Nintendo Pro controller that I use when I do that. Also, there's like that, didn't it come, like mine came with a little thing I could slot the sides into to turn it into a controller. Did yours not come with that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Use that. Why are you making all this work, Nintendo? Just let me play a video game.
It's fun though. You get to hear that click noise.
Hell yeah, video games. Does Ash ever catch them all? Or did he just become an old man and filled with regret?
So I looked this up because I was curious about this. Apparently, Ash is no longer on the show after the show's still going. But after 23 years,
cancer?
No, he like it's like the ending of his thing is like he meets up with like Brock and Misty, and they solve some like dangling plot threads, and then he retires. He says, "I'm going to go home and not be a Pokemon guy anymore," and everyone goes home, and it's kind of like, I don't know. And then at the end, he changes his mind and walks off into the sunset.
I've always wanted to like cowboy off into the sunset someday.
Problem is, like, as soon as you cowboy off into the sunset, you're now in the desert at night by yourself.
That's fine. I like the desert.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've always wanted to like do some desert camping. I don't know. It seems.
Can't say I've really thought about it. Seems like a place that's cold and full of nasty animals. But again, yeah, no, there's like a new Pokemon trainer character.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is it like Ash's nephew or niece?
I think she's completely unrelated. I don't know. Like Ash isn't really that old. Like I guess he's older. Like he's in his teens
he's like
now.
14.
But yeah, pretty much. But he's just got like a tan. That's like how they've aged him. It's like old Ash was pale and experienced Ash has a tan. I know like every season he had to have a different outfit, or not every season, every like generation they gave him a different outfit.
Well, you can sell new stuff that way.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's like the C-3PO red arm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Although I don't know, I kind of was like, "Ooh, a red arm. What happened there? I want to know the story behind that."
Nothing. They'll never tell you. Like Disney has given you.
No, they'll do like a whole. They'll do a whole movie about it. That's just C-3PO, the origin story.
I don't know. I don't know if he tracks that much with them. God, I've never even watched any of the. I think I watched like one season of The Mandalorian, and I was like, it's okay. You know, I think people really did like just nut for Baby Yoda so hard.
Well, I think it was just also like, oh, this is like okay to good Star Wars content. We're so excited about this. Like,
I guess so.
Everyone just, I mean, I liked it a lot, although I never was all that into Baby Yoda as a concept. I was like, okay, this is a thing. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I liked it okay. But the problem is like, aside from The Mandalorian, like all the others, this is going to be a long rant, but like, they kind of went with the like story writing model from like Clone Wars, which I like Clone Wars and I like Rebels, like the animated stuff, but I don't think
Wars was like great.
Yeah, and I just don't think that storytelling thing works very well for prestige television. And I don't think prestige television is what you want to do with Star Wars. I think Star Wars is a setting for like other stories as opposed to like its own.
Just focusing on you.
Yeah, I think like if I were to do the age-old comparison of Star Wars versus Star Trek, like Star Trek isn't really a place. It's there are like things that make something Star Trek. Like there's usually like this kind of, science fiction speculative thought that has to go into a good Star Trek plot. And Star Wars is more about like, what if World War II in space? What if, the Guns of Navarone in space? What if The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly but in space? And I feel like if you just try and be like, Star Wars is Jedi and the plot and stuff like that, then you're missing the.
You're not getting the story.
Yeah, there's no story there.
The feel.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all vibes and no meat.
Did you ever watch the Starship Troopers, basically Clone Wars show that they had?
No, I didn't.
There was like this really good animated show that was just like fleshed out version of like the long campaigns. But like animated.
Oh, weird.
Of them like going from like planet to planet kind of stuff. It was really good. I wish I could I used to watch it like crazy.
An animated is like Saturday morning cartoon thing?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Roughnecks. Starship Trooper Chronicles. God, look at that animation.
Oh my god. It's like that early 3D shit.
It's like a StarCraft cutscene.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This looks terrible. I mean, it looks unpleasant to look at.
Well, at the time, it was like, wow, is that real?
Yeah, how many episodes did this show get?
I don't know, but I remember watching it a lot.
40 episodes. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had never heard of this.
Dang, they really knew how to do one season, 40 episodes. It must have been, some dude must have been like hyped off of fucking, what was that goddamn?
Well, a lot of those Saturday morning cartoon shows were like that because they had the point. A lot of them were like, well, we need to have an episode every day, or every. Like,
well, they were like, no, if it was just one long season, we don't have to get renewed.
Yeah, well, that's apparently how it works in Japan. Like technically, like for the Pokemon anime, I was looking at that. Like it's like 27 seasons in the West and like 4 in Japan, I think.
Well, I imagine they're probably like all the Ash is one season.
Well, no, I think all the Ash is 3 seasons, and then the new character.
The new character.
I should look up her
What's
name.
The new character's name?
I'm looking it up.
Is it Dust?
Embers.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Liko is her name.
Liko. Oh, far-fetched. Little reference there.
Or maybe it's Liko. Liko.
I don't know how to enunciate the Japanese language, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. Yeah, she seems like an anime character.
So Pokemon, away game? Way late.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We just like to really support the little guys.
Yeah,
in the show.
Exactly. Just like the stuff you know.
Give them a leg up.
Shine a light on some of the parts of the
indie developers,
yes.
Little company out of Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
No, isn't it like the number one like money making franchise
ever? Yeah.
Ever?
Yep.
Like bigger than Harry Potter, right? Even though Harry Potter's got like a theme park. Oh, there's got to be a Pokemon theme park, right?
I think there's like part of a theme park that's Pokemon dedicated, but
I guess they don't need that kind of money.
Yeah.
I did see that there's like a Studio Ghibli theme park, but it's not really like a theme park. I think it's just like a place you go to and buy stuff
and walk around.
But it's full of vibes.
Yeah. They're making a Nintendo one, so maybe they'll probably have some Pokemon stuff there, I imagine.
The Game Freaks. I don't know. I didn't know the whole story of being like a journal, going from being a news reporter to being like.
Yeah. So if I can go like I
like that though.
Yeah, I just read the Wikipedia thing, so I could regale that to you. But basically, he was like, he just started his own magazine after he finished college because there weren't a lot of magazines. It was like I think it was just like a zine, as we would say nowadays. So there weren't that many. This is like 1980, and there weren't that many magazines for video games in Japan at the time. And then he did that for like he and this other guy did that for like 5 years, and then they started making their own games like that you could order through the magazine, and then they kind of like reached a deal with Nintendo where they would like make stuff or like distribute stuff with them or wherever, and then that's how they can. And technically speaking, Pokemon isn't actually owned by Nintendo. It's like owned 4 ways between like Nintendo and Game Freak and something called Creatures Incorporated, which is like a separate company owned by one of the original guys and like another company. So like even though it's like an IP, it's technically like shared. And like I think technically speaking now maybe Nintendo owns all of it, or they own enough of their stakes in all the different companies to like basically control it, but it has a very complicated ownership, or at least it did back in the day.
Well, I'm sure something worth that much money definitely is a lot of people trying to get their fingers in the pot.
I mean, it was like that from before. Like before it turned into a huge thing, it was owned by 4 people or 4 entities. And like it's impressive that they managed to like, you know, market all this crap to every corner of the globe, and with that much potential legal problems. Mm-hmm. Also, I was reading something about how like initially they were very like careful about all the merchandising they did, and like they would have to like inspect it anytime anyone asked them. And they said that, I mean, I remember there being Pokemon everything down to like Pokemon nail clippers and pencils and stuff, but like apparently they only accepted 5% of the licensing agreements that were like approached to them. Like 5% of the companies that approached them to license Pokemon
And it
images.
was everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, imagine if they had accepted more of that.
Or did you have to, like that you stopped to really imagine that world?
No, I was just trying to
It got
think,
dark. It
like
got
what
dark
was
fast,
what
I could
was.
tell.
I was trying to think what was peak Pokemon.
Cyberpunk, but everything's just Pokemon.
Yeah, Cyber Pokemon, Cyber Poke.
God.
No, it was the summer of like, I guess it was probably '99 when like the movie came out, and then there was like that Burger King tie-in, and Pokemon Yellow came out. That must have been like peak Pokemon, right? Like I think that was like.
I imagine it was definitely probably up there.
Yeah, because that was also the summer that Phantom Menace came out.
Oh wow,
that was a big summer.
God, biggest year of my life, best year of my life.
Yeah, I mean it has to be, right?
I mean, double-edged lightsaber. No one was ready for that.
No, I sure as hell wasn't. Yeah. Did you collect all the Phantom Menace soda cans, Taylor?
No, I did not. It was not something. I had a friend who did it.
No, exactly. Me too. I didn't either. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. You have all the different faces on the cans.
Because that was like PepsiCo, right?
Yeah, it was Pepsi, yeah.
Because I think it was Mountain Dew. All that. Got my Mountain Dew Darth Maul.
Exactly. I wonder if you could still buy those on eBay.
Do you ever see the Deus Ex tie-in like microwavable cheeseburgers? You win a free trip to Detroit. Is it real?
Here's a set of Mountain Dew Phantom Menace tie-in cans. Oh, this is all of them. This is all the Pepsi ones too.
Oh wow!
$100.
What's it going?
That's what it sold for. It even has his mom on it. Like they really got all the characters. Like they have a speaking line they got on a can.
Yeah, I'm sure they were trying to get as many as they could.
Oh yeah, that was Pepsi 1. That was that weird thing that came out then, like the Pepsi 1 calorie thing, where it was like not Diet Pepsi, it was something else.
You can have a calorie. It's okay.
I think that's probably fine. All right. Well, that was this episode of Nostalgic Rambling.
Way game, way lame.
Yeah, way game.
Oh, we already did that, didn't we?
What am I going to say?
Way game. I'm trying to find this picture of the cheeseburger.
The DSX microwavable cheeseburger.
Yeah.
That's a weird, I don't know. That's a weird tie-in. That is odd. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the newer ones. So that makes a bit more sense. But yeah, when an action-packed, I don't know if I want an action-packed trip to Detroit. As someone who has lived in the Detroit metropolitan area,
yeah, I like that they were like real committed to like, yeah, we're French, but we'll send them to Detroit.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe if you're going from France, that's like novel.
Witness a crime.
Yeah, or rather, just witness urban decay and emptiness.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that was definitely during like the worst time.
Well, that was like the post-crime period, because that was like when there weren't any people left to do crime.
Was when like nature was taking back?
Yeah,
Detroit
exactly. That was like
yeah.
Yeah. It's just like we can just film a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff. We'll just
I bet Werner Herzog loved it.
I don't know. He don't think he loves a lot of things.
Yeah, but like retaking Detroit.
I think he's very like keen on pointing out how brutal nature is and all that stuff, and how like it is. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he's necessarily like pro nature as like a thing over humanity. I think it's like, if I were to like point at Werner Herzog's like general thesis, is that we are nature and we are not separate from it, and nature is brutal and beautiful and kind, and we are also beautiful and brutal and kind. And also not. And also we're tiny specks in an insignificant timeline of life on this earth and all the things that exist beyond it. So
all we are is dust in the wind.
Or ash in
the Ketchum.
Ash in the Ketchum. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you later.
I've been Marcus.
I've been Arvid.
I never even thought about his last name being Ketchum.
You thought he was named after Ketchum,
like
Idaho?
Ketchup.
Because they're
like
like
a ketchup
real big
thing,
fans
and
of
like-
Hemingway, so they named him after Ketchum, Idaho.
No, I didn't even like it. Just like hit.